Because of the World Series broadcast that follows, Checkerboard Jamboree, sponsored by the makers of Purina Chow, will be canceled in certain areas today. Queen for a Day, jointly sponsored by the makers of Alka-Seltzer and One-A-Day Vitamins, the makers of Robin Hood Flour, and the makers of Philip Morris cigarettes, will be delayed until immediately after the game. We take you now to Braves Field in Boston.
Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp. Use Gillette Blue Blades with the sharpest edges ever honed. Gillette's Cavalcade of Sports is on the air. From Braves Field in Boston, Massachusetts, Gillette presents the World Series for the 10th consecutive year. Good afternoon, baseball fans everywhere. This is Mel Allen with Jim Britt greeting you for the Gillette Safety Razor Company as the Cleveland Indians and Boston Braves get set for the opening game of the 1948 Championship Classic. Fans, for the tops in sports, tune in Gillette's Cavalcade of Sports the year round. Every Friday night, Gillette broadcasts the major boxing bout of the week for the Fistic Fancy Coast to Coast. Also, as they occur, Gillette airs leading events of turf, diamond, and gridiron. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's been said many times in jest that the country could or should be given back to the Indians. Well, today that quip has taken on an aura of reality. For America truly has been taken by the Redskins, the Cleveland Indians, and the Boston Braves. Many times have these warriors been to the well through the years, but it's been quite a long time between thirst-quenching pennant drafts. It was 1914 when the Boston Braves last headed the National League contingent. The dramatic surge from last place in midsummer to the top at curtain falling time, and then a spectacular sweep of a star-studded Philadelphia Athletics team in the World Series. That's a story that has been repeated time after time after time, one of the greatest in baseball history. The Warriors from the Lake Erie Reservation, the Cleveland Indians, had gone hunting but wanting for an American League flag since 1920, when they knocked over the Brooklyn Dodgers in the Fall Classic. That was the series, you remember, in which Wamby made that unassisted triple play. And so it's been 34 and 28 years, respectively, for these two clubs since they were last represented in this greatest of sports spectacles, the World Series. And today our wigwam is pitched on the bank of the Charles River in what has often been referred to as quaint or staid old Boston. But you can take it from us, friends, that baseball fans in these parts are just as rabid and sportsmanlike as any you'll find anywhere at any time. I know you're interested in the weather. Perhaps many of you from coast to coast might have received reports from the many members of the various press associations and newspapers who are here in attendance that there was prediction of rain. There was. Everyone expected that the rain would be coming down today and that there would be a postponement of the opening game of the World Series. But somehow or other, the weatherman has cooperated to a great extent, at least thus far. Since early this morning, the sun was shining. However, at the moment, the sun is not shining, but there are patches of blue around and about. There's a bit of a breeze blowing. It's somewhat cool, but not too cold. It's not quite cool enough for football weather, almost. And the ball players will be comfortable. The wind is blowing in from right field toward home plate at the present time, so that left-handed pull hitters will not be aided exactly by the wind. And we're going to give you the distances from home plate down the foul lines in a moment as we go about the ballpark and describe that for you. But let us say, as we return to the weather, that it looks as if we'll be able to get in 9 innings without any trouble. There are a few clouds beginning to move into the blue, but it appears that we'll be able to play baseball all the way. As we look around Braves Field, we look off to the left, and when we look to the left from our broadcasting booth, that's down the left field line, out over the left field fence, over the New York Central Railroad tracks, and we see Fair Harvard, the campus of Harvard University in the distance. And as we move around, looking out across the center field fence where the Charles River floats by, we see Cambridge and Somerville, and off back of right field, we see the skyline of downtown Boston. Getting back to Braves Field, the fans are being entertained at the moment by some antics on the playing field itself, as the Cleveland Indians at the moment are taking infield practice. And warming up are the starting pitchers for today, Johnny Sain of the Boston Braves, sensational right-hander, and for the Cleveland Indians, realizing a dream of a lifetime, one of the greatest names in the history of baseball, Bobby Feller. Just a moment ago, we saw something that sent our mind spinning back through the years. Tris Speaker was talking to Lou Boudreau. Lou Boudreau, the wonderful, peppery, smart, great manager of the Cleveland Indians, was talking with Tris Speaker, who managed the Cleveland Ball Club in 1920 when Cleveland last won its pennant. We couldn't tell exactly what they were talking about, but you can imagine just about as well as we can. Tris was probably saying to Lou, just do the same thing, Lou, that you've been doing all year, and you'll bring a World Series to Cleveland, a World Series championship, just as I had the good fortune to do back in 1920. On the other side, there's Billy Southworth, a veteran of many World Series campaigns. I remember broadcasting one World Series when Billy Southworth entered as the underdog, just as he has entered the underdog in this series, Cleveland the favorite, against the New York Yankees. It was in 1942. But with Johnny Beasley pitching sensational ball and the masterminding of another outstanding manager and a great handler of men and the keen strategist, Billy Southworth, the St. Louis Cardinals that year beat the Yankees in the World Series for an upset triumph. You never know what's going to happen in 7 games, so why try to predict? All we can tell you is that around the hotels, wherever baseball men gather, there are those who predict anywhere from 4 to 7 games, and that just about covers it all. Pitching is the big thing in any short series. Billy Southworth has Warren Spahn to back up Johnny Sane. Lou Boudreau perhaps has a little more depth to back up Bob Feller. He has Gene Bearden and Bob Lemon. But you never know who might come out of the ranks to star in a short series. Somebody that you never expected, or at least didn't anticipate to star. But on the other hand, these managers might have been grooming him over the past few weeks, and they are tight-lipped about it. So we'll just sit tight and watch what happens as the World Series unfolds between the Boston Braves and the Cleveland Indians. There's another striking parallel here. Jeff Heath, who gained stardom in the major leagues with the Cleveland Indians, had the misfortune to break an ankle in the leg in Brooklyn just a few days before the 1948 season ended. Jeff Heath, now with the Boston Braves, who was looking forward to playing in his first World Series, and particularly against his old teammates. Dame Fortune did not see fit to smile on Jeff. However, he had a big smile himself when Cleveland beat the Boston Red Sox in the playoff game at Fenway Park. He went into the clubhouse, crutches and all, and congratulated the men with whom he had played. There have been others who have come along since with whom he did not play. And then he stuck up his leg that had the cast on it and said, boys, go ahead and autograph this for me. And the parallel goes back to a guy named Red Smith from the 1914 team of the Boston Braves. That was that great team, you know, who came from last place around 4th of July to win the pennant. Red Smith broke his leg in similar fashion to Jeff Heath, and against the same team, against the Brooklyn Dodgers toward the end of the year, and was unable to play in the series. And both of those men are out here today to watch the action. Jeff Heath, his heart, of course, pounding, his heart broken to a degree because he can't play, and Red Smith there to comfort him, to tell him about his own experience. And then we saw Hank Gowdy a little while ago. Hank Gowdy is now with the New York Giants in the capacity of coach. He was with that great Braves team of 1914. And it's been wonderful just to watch all these men who have been invited by Mr. Lou Perini, owner of the Boston Braves, in a wonderful gesture. All the living members of the 1914 Braves team, the last to win the National League pennant, at his invitation have come to watch the World Series. But here are the lineups, ladies and gentlemen, for the Cleveland Indians, as we get ready for the more important business at hand, the start of the World Series. For the Cleveland Indians, it'll be Dale Mitchell leading off, playing left field. He hit .336 on the season. Larry Doby will hit second, play center field, with a batting average of .301. Batting third, playing shortstop, will be the manager, Lou Boudreau, hitting at .355. In the cleanup spot will be Joe Gordon, no stranger to World Series play, but the first time that he has appeared in the Fall Classics since becoming a member of the Cleveland Indians. Batting at .279, playing second base. Hitting fifth is Kenny Keltner, hitting at .298, third base. Following him in the batting order, playing right field is Walter Judnick, who hit .257 on the season. Then comes Ed Robinson, first base, hit .252 on the year. Batting eighth and catching, Jim Hegan, who lives in Lynn, Massachusetts, nearby here, with a batting average of .248. And in the ninth spot in the batting order and pitching is Bobby Feller. For the host, Boston Braves, leading off, playing right field, Tommy Holmes, hitting at 325. Hitting second, playing shortstop, one of the sensations of the year, Alvin Dark, hitting at 322. Batting third, playing first base, Torgerson, hitting at 251. In the cleanup spot and playing third base, last year voted the most valuable player in the National League, Elliott, hitting at 283, Bob Elliott. Marv Rickert will follow Elliott in the batting order. He received special permission to participate in the series after the injury to Jeff Heath, which reduced the outfielding strength of the Braves, and was recalled in a hurry by manager Billy Southworth from Milwaukee. Marv Rickert, who at one time played in the major leagues with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Marv Rickert hitting at 211. And then will come Bill Salkeld, hitting at 244, doing catching. Mike McCormick will play center field, hitting at 299. He once played in the World Series with the Cincinnati Reds. And a guy that played in the World Series last year, but with a different club, and he's going to start today. And it's going to be interesting to see that little pepper pot in action again. Eddie Stanky, second base, hitting at 315. And in the ninth spot in the batting order and pitching is Johnny Sane from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Johnny Sane, that completes the lineup. There go the Boston Braves trotting out onto the field, ladies and gentlemen. The umpires back to the plate will be Barr of the National League, Summers of the American League at first base, Stewart of the National League at second base, Grieve of the American League at third base. The alternates, Paparella of the American League, will be stationed down the left field line, left field foul line, and Pinelli of the National League will be stationed down the right field foul line. And now it's with a great deal of pleasure that I introduce to you your play-by-play announcer for the first 4.5 innings of today's game, a man who knows these Boston Braves real well. He broadcasts their home games as well as those of the Boston Red Sox. It's a pleasure to introduce you now, ladies and gentlemen, to Jim Britt.
Thank you, Mel. Good afternoon, everyone. John Sane is out on the mound limbering up before throwing the initial pitch to left fielder Dale Mitchell, and Mel Harder and Bill McKechnie are taking their posts in the coaches' boxes at first base and third. But before the first game of this historic 1948 World Series gets underway, we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System. Back at Braves Field, umpire George Barr is dusting off home plate, and he also is erasing the parallel lines of the batter's box so that they will in no way interfere with the whiteness of the outside corners, on which many a pitch may hang. Dale Mitchell batted .336 for Cleveland during the regular season. He comes from Normal, Oklahoma. He's the left fielder. There's a strong wind blowing in from the River Charles, an east wind we call it in Boston, and it will take a mighty wallop by a left-hander to hit home run territory. Johnny Sane winds up. He takes his stride. The first pitch, ball outside. Third baseman Bob Elliott broke for the plate, thinking Mitchell might try to drop down a bunt. The outfield's disposition is slightly to the left. The right side of the infield is in a bit. Sane winds up again. Here's the second pitch. And there's a drive to center field with Mike McCormick drifting to his own left, waiting for it. One out. Mitchell lined out to Mike McCormick in left center field. In left field for the Braves, Marv Rickert, playing his first World Series for the Bostonians. As a matter of fact, very few of the Braves have had World Series experience. And Eddie Stanky is the only one in the batting order who has seen it in an active role. The great Cleveland center fielder, Larry Doby of Norwalk, Ohio, has a batting average of .301, and he's a left-hander. He stands just a little open in the left-handed batter's box. He has great power. The outfield is straight away. Here's the pitch. High curveball.